Now on the CTV News at 5, inflation slowed slightly in October, what it means for southern Alberta's economy. Plus, community groups come together to launch the Christmas Hope campaign. And a fundraiser is underway that's sure to make you smile.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Inflation is continuing a downward trend as it hits 2.2% last month. That's compared to 2.4% in September. Costs in some key areas have stayed the same or gone down, while others, they're still trickling up. Quinn Keenan has more.
Inflation is slightly higher in October than economists had expected, but still within the Bank of Canada's 2.25% target range. Some prices have even started to go down. Notably, grocery prices are down 0.6% from the month before.
Overall, inflation is kind of cooling, which is good. Alberta is 1.8 inflation rate, which is slightly lower than September, so that's good for everyone's bottom line.
Perhaps the biggest drop was gas prices. Gas fell 4.8% between September and October. The biggest factors were retailers switching to winter fuel and oversupply.
We have seen a big drop compared to last year. Lethbridge averaged today only 122.9. A year ago, we were shelling out almost $1.46 a liter. So a huge drop in the last year.
It follows a trend of falling gas prices highlighted by the end of the consumer carbon tax. Prices will likely drop further heading towards Christmas.
I do think prices should have some downward momentum here. That downward momentum may take a couple of weeks to really hit our peak, but then by Christmas, towards the end of the year, we could see prices 5 to 10 cents a liter lower than where they are today if everything goes well.
It's not all good news for consumers. Cellular prices are up 7% year over year. Home and vehicle insurance have also seen large spikes over the last 5 years. But overall, softening inflation shows the economy may be stabilizing.
Generally, we're seeing a bit of stabilization of costs. So that's great for employers. People can plan long term a bit more with stable input costs. And it generally means, manufacturers, agri-food processors have a more steady input costs.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Alberta's Federation of Labour and LGBTQ advocates are raising concerns that the province could potentially invoke the use of the notwithstanding clause affecting trans youth. The province is introducing Bill 9 sometime this week. It's called the Protecting Alberta's Children's Status Amendment Act. Its contents have not been made public, but the Federation of Labour and others fear it will affect trans rights. According to an internal government memo leaked to the Canadian press in September, the notwithstanding clause is expected to be used in legislation that bans hormone therapy for those under 16, requires parental consent for pronoun changes at school, and blocks trans athletes from over 12 from competing in female amateur sport. The province says if and when it uses the clause, it will do so as a last resort.
We're going to use every single legal and constitutional tool that we have to protect our children. We look at this from the lens of our children, what harm they might suffer, they might stand to suffer. We'll take every step available to make sure that they're well protected.
The notwithstanding clause allows governments to pass legislation that could violate certain charter rights. A Calgary MLA is apologizing after accidentally recording herself using profanity on a constituent's voicemail.
All right. Go to this next one.
That was a voicemail left by UCP MLA Tanya Furr while returning calls from constituents upset over how the UCP ended the teacher strike. Furr did not realize the line was still open when she used the profanity to describe the next caller. And that caller, Calgary writer Doug Furby, was sent a copy of the recording and contacted Furr for an explanation.
She said, "You have no idea how many hostile phone calls I get and being called the worst possible things." She told me that she didn't mean to use it back at people. She was she said she was in shell shock from all of the verbal abuse that she's been receiving. And she said, "I was actually just trying to joke around with my fellow office person." Yeah, people can decide whether they believe that or not, right?
In a statement to CTV, Tanya Furr says it was a poor moment of judgment and she has apologized, which Furby says he has accepted. Furr goes on to explain it was a flippant use of an inappropriate word she has been called following the use of the UCP's use of the notwithstanding clause against teachers. An update from Brooks RCMP. 25-year-old Adriana McSeveny, who was reported missing last week, has been found safe. And a Taber man is facing charges in a string of commercial break-ins and thefts in southern Alberta. Lethbridge police have charged 36-year-old Tyler Kelly Blake in connection to 11 incidents in 2 months in Lethbridge, Coaldale, Picture Butte, Taber and Redcliffe. The stolen property is valued at around $40,000. It includes 2 flat-deck trailers, truck parts, a utility trailer, fuel tanks, fuel and license plates. And Lethbridge police are asking for the public's help locating a 36-year-old man wanted on outstanding warrants. Anthony Kruger Austin is wanted on 2 warrants for failing to comply with release order conditions stemming from charges of kidnapping, robbery, uttering threats, and possession of a dangerous weapon. Anyone who has seen Kruger Austin or has information on his whereabouts is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Firefighters safely rescued 3 pets from a South Lethbridge home after responding to a fire structure Saturday morning. Crews responded to the blaze around 8 a.m. along the 1200 block of 5th Avenue South. Firefighters entered the home and quickly extinguished the blaze before it could spread. No one was home at the time of the fire. No injuries were reported. Damage is estimated, though, at $200,000. No word yet on the cause of the fire. Blood Tribe police are looking for witnesses, dash camera footage or cell phone video of a vehicle hitting multiple pedestrians in standoff. It happened October 10th around 10:30 p.m. near the trading post in Standoff, just Highway 2. A 15-year-old female suffered serious injuries and was airlifted to hospital in Calgary. A 19-year-old female was also taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. A short time later, police located the vehicle. It was a white Ford Explorer and arrested the driver. Now, anyone who saw what happened or has video footage is again asked to contact police. Let's check in with Danielle Savoni for our first look at the forecast. And today, a nice day, Danielle, and the nicest we're going to see this week.
Yes, this is the warmest we will get all week because a normal daytime high for this time of year is between 1 and 3 degrees in the far south. We're sitting at 14 right now in Lethbridge. Yes, we have a good amount of cloud cover. Winds at this point are relatively calm as well. Check out these temperatures in the far south. Medicine Hat at 13, 15 in Milk River, 10 in Pincher Creek. Even Calgary's in the double digits right now. And again, the winds are calm for now, and they should be calm tomorrow as well. The difference for tomorrow is we have rain and even some freezing rain potential, even some snowflakes in the forecast for some communities in southern Alberta. We'll talk more about that coming up, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Well, the city's largest Christmas campaign officially got underway this morning. The 19th annual Christmas Hope campaign is aiming to help more than 9,000 people, including 6,000 children. As Carson Marsouk reports, the campaign is expanding to include seniors living in the community.
It's a collaboration to support those in need this holiday season. 7 charities have joined forces to support the Christmas Hope campaign.
Our needs every year, year over year, are increasing. And it's just a reality of the world in which we live today with rising costs and inflation and all those kinds of things. But families are hurting and they need more and more help at Christmas time.
The Interfaith Food Bank, Lethbridge Food Bank, Lethbridge Family Services, My City Care, Salvation Army, Volunteer Lethbridge, along with the newly added Lethbridge Senior Citizens Organization, will strive to help more than 9,000 people this year.
The fact that we have this terrific group of people who all come together every year and say, we got this and we're going to make this really special for everyone, is a real privilege to be a part of.
The organizations will be sharing resources and data to ensure everyone's needs are met and no one is doubled up. It's the first year the LSCO has joined with a goal to support 250 seniors.
They tend to get forgotten over the Christmas season, and so for us to be able to partner with the Christmas Hope campaign helps bring that awareness to the needs of seniors in the city, as well as gifts for them.
It's expected that more than 3,000 households will be served at the food banks this season, while presents will be handed out to more than 6,000 children.
Christmas Hope is about empowering, and through this we want to let parents be the one to say, I got this for you. The parents get to be the hero, and the parents get to see the special spark in their child's eyes.
But to meet that target, the 7 organizations are calling on the community for help.
We very much depend on our community support, individual donors, group donors, with both monetary donations and tangible offerings like food and toys.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
To learn more about the campaign, donate or sign up to volunteer, you can visit christmashope.ca. The City of Lethbridge's yard waste sites are now closed for the winter. The last day of operations was yesterday. This year, the site saw more than 31,000 visits and helped divert 968 tons of yard waste from the landfill. Residents can still take yard waste and the Waste Recycling Center for composting year-round, though. Well, we are going to see slightly cooler daytime highs this week. Danielle is back with the 5-day forecast right after this break. Plus, according to a new report, Canada is losing ground in its fight against cervical cancer, and it's almost entirely preventable.
Skycam facing northwest. Here are just some signs in the sky of some things to come. Today was an exceptionally warm day for this time of year, well above normal. More than 10 degrees above normal in most communities in the far south. 14 degrees was the high in Calgary today. 10 in Victoria, 11 in Vancouver, 5 in Regina. And if you head off to the east, much cooler in those lower single digits for many communities in southern Ontario and southern Quebec. Look at St. John's, though. They got to 13 degrees today, so they have some warmth, and we have some warmth. Just to look closer to home here, Pincher Creek is in the double digits still, Milk River in the teens, believe it or not, and 12 in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. Starting to cool down in Brooks at 7 degrees. We have had calm winds today as well, 44 kilometers per hour. So that was the max in Pincher Creek out of the west. Banff 28, and then over in Medicine Hat 30. It should be fairly calm with regards to the winds in most communities tomorrow, but it will start to get gusty, especially later in the day in this corridor, Pincher Creek over to Lethbridge. The usual, but we could pick up to about 60, even 70 kilometers per hour by late tomorrow, especially in those areas. All right, we have a system that's really just starting to kick in. So showers are possible as we head through the evening hours and even through the late night hours. And we will likely see in many communities that transition to that wet snow because we'll start dipping overnight closer to that freezing mark. And this is wave number 1. Second wave comes tomorrow, and the second wave will open the gates to much cooler air coming in. So it's a cold front moving through for tomorrow. That's going to open the gates for a cooler air mass that will reside here for the rest of this week. So heads up on that one. All right, when we look at the moisture that we have for the next little bit, just some rainfall here and there, some isolated pockets. This is a look at tomorrow morning, and as you can see, we have showers possible, and even we may kick it off with a little bit of freezing rain. That's possible in Lethbridge. That's up Highway 2 as well. So there may be some slick areas out there for tomorrow morning on the highway and in communities in general. Then this starts to switch off. Temperatures start to warm above that freezing mark, and we'll switch to rain in the afternoon for Lethbridge. And most areas in the far south are looking at some rain for tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll likely see a switch over to potentially some snowflakes as we start to drop tomorrow night temperature-wise. And then it clears out. So we'll get sunshine after that, so a stable rest of the week, but a cooler rest of the week. 3 degrees with showers tonight in the East Kootenay area, and 8 degrees for tomorrow. Gusts 40 kilometers per hour with rain, especially later in the day. -1 tonight, gusts 40 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 50, even 60 tomorrow. And then rain mixed in with that wet snow and even freezing rain possible. 1 overnight in Medicine Hat, and then we are looking at rain possible later in the day tomorrow. More in the afternoon and late day around those supper hours. All right, and similar for Lethbridge, 7 degrees for tomorrow, chance of freezing rain, and even some snowflakes. And then we're dry after that, but temperatures will be in those single digits for Wednesday and Thursday.
After more than 2 decades of progress, cervical cancer rates are no longer declining. And the Canadian Cancer Society warns the country may not reach its goal of eliminating cervical cancer by 2040. Sarah Plowman has the details.
Every day, hundreds of Canadians hear those dreaded words, "You have cancer." For Linda Wu, that moment happened 35 years ago when she saw a doctor for her pregnancy and learned she had cervical cancer.
If I hadn't gotten pregnant, I wouldn't have known. I would have been like every other woman who discovered it when it was too late.
A new report shows after a long period of steady decline, cervical cancer rates have plateaued, even though experts say it's preventable.
This really highlights that we aren't making the progress that we had seen before.
For women aged 35 to 55, cervical cancer is actually increasing.
The rates now in 2022 are the same as they were in 1992.
The report's authors point to several factors behind the shift.
Increased transmission of human papillomavirus, or HPV as some people know it, low uptake of the HPV vaccine, lower cervical screening rates.
Dr. Amanda Selk says cervix cancer doctors are noticing more cancer cases, and some are more advanced.
Cervix cancer is a terrible, terrible disease. And if we can prevent it for so many people, if you can just get yourself screened and follow through with treatment, we treat people all the time and they do really well.
Most cervical cancers are caused by human papillomavirus, HPV. Vaccines are offered in schools, but coverage continues to lag below targets. Screening methods are also changing as provinces move to HPV testing, a move the Canadian Cancer Society wants all governments to follow.
We want to be able to say by 2040, no one will have this cancer in Canada.
The report did show that cancer mortality rates overall have gone down, and mortality rates for lung, colorectal, and bladder cancers have been declining rapidly. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are Grey Cup champs. Sports is next. The Lethbridge Hurricanes are continuing their BC road trip. After a win in Penticton Wednesday, the Canes look to build some much-needed momentum. Friday, Lethbridge was down 3-2 midway through the second when Captain Logan Wormold found the back of the net for his team-leading 12th goal. Now in the third, after Kelowna retook the lead, defenseman Will Scott scored his first career WHL goal to send the game to overtime. And in overtime, Kai Anderson gets the puck in front and makes no mistake. The Canes win 5-4. Saturday, Lethbridge traveled to Kamloops to play against the Blazers. Down 1-0 in the first, Logan Wormold again finds the twine on a power play to tie the game. And that's where the fun ended for Lethbridge. Kamloops took control from there, scoring 4 unanswered goals. Lethbridge couldn't muster much in a 6-2 loss. Medicine Hat Tigers were also in action. They were on the road against Regina Friday. Medicine Hat held the lead until midway through the second when Regina's Julian Mays scored to tie the game at 3. That was it for regulation, scoring as the game went to overtime. There, Kyle Heger would be the hero, with the Tigers getting a 4-3 win. Tigers were in trouble down too late to the Brandon Wheat Kings on Saturday. Late in the third, with the goalie pulled, Liam Ruck scored to make it a 1-goal game. And then, with a little more than a minute to go, Bryce Pickford would also score to force overtime. Now, the comeback fell short, though, with Brandon's Jacob Jackson scoring to give Brandon a 6-5 win. Brooks Bandits are having one of the toughest seasons they've had in years. Heading into the weekend, they were looking to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Bandits found a way to get back into the win column Friday night. Brooks scored 5 times before the Sherwood Park Crusaders hit the score sheet in a 7-3 win. They kept that momentum going Saturday against the Vernon Vipers. A 5-goal outburst in the second period helped the Bandits to a 6-4 victory. Fresh off snapping their 10-game losing skid, the Cranbrook Bucks were also looking to get some strong wins together. Friday night, they got the better of the West Kelowna Warriors in a 4-2 win at home, but the Bucks came out flat. Saturday, West Kelowna got revenge in a 7-2 beatdown. The University of Lethbridge Pronghorns and Lethbridge Polytechnic Kodiaks each had teams in action over the weekend. The Pronghorns basketball teams were at home against the Manitoba Bisons. The women's team came up short Friday in a 60-48 loss. Afterwards, the men got an 87-71 win over Manitoba. Saturday was a much better day for the women. They would get an 80-65 win. The men, though, could not finish the weekend sweep. They lose 74-69. Kodiak's basketball started the weekend at home against the Lakeland College Rustlers. The women's team won 59-42. The men fell in a 76-71 loss. Back at home Saturday against Keano College, the women's team won 65-59. The men's team finished the weekend on a high with a 109-98 win. Looking at volleyball now, the women's team, they had a rare night off Friday. The men were matched up against Lakeland College and suffered their very first loss in a 3-0 sweep. Saturday, the women's team was back, but lost in a sweep to Gano College. The men, too, would lose in a sweep as their perfect start unravels. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are Grey Cup champions for the first time in 12 years. The win comes as the CFL embarks on some drastic changes in the years to come. CTV Scott Hurst reports.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are returning home to a hero's welcome today. Their Grey Cup victory in Winnipeg ends a championship drought for the Roughriders, who last won the Grey Cup in 2013. But to give the Montreal Alouettes credit, they made the Saskatchewan players and fans wait until the final play to start celebrating. The Alouettes with a potential chance to tie it on a last-second play to the end zone, but the pass fell incomplete. Grey Cup MVP Roughriders quarterback Trevor Harris with this message for his teammates.
And without you guys, this doesn't happen, man. We're champs forever. Let's go!
All of this happening as the CFL is set to make some significant rule changes over the next 2 years, including a major overhaul to the field of play. Smaller end zones, shorter fields, and moving the goalposts from the goal line to the back of the end zone. The changes are not sitting well with some die-hard fans who argue it's taking away the uniqueness of the Canadian game, while others say the changes are necessary to modernize the CFL and attract a whole new generation of fans. But first, a chance for the province of Saskatchewan to party as the city of Regina will be hosting the championship parade tomorrow. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, a yummy fundraiser is underway. We have got those details coming up next. A holiday fundraiser is underway that is sure to make you smile. The Holiday Smile Cookie Campaign kicked off at Tim Hortons this morning. The sale of every cookie this week helps support the Interfaith Food Bank and Tim Hortons camps. Last year, nearly 20,000 cookies were sold, raising more than $36,000. All 13 Tim Hortons locations in Lethbridge will be supporting the Interfaith Food Bank.
Food purchases, that is the biggest thing that we need to spend our money on right now, and with increased demand and increased cost of groceries, we can really use the money to buy those good things that we're handing out to local families.
We talked about it amongst the owner group, and it seemed to be fitting this time of year. Costs are going up, more demand on the food banks and services, so this would be a great opportunity to kind of take this program and elevate it and give back right where it's needed in the cities.
The Holiday Smile Cookie Campaign wraps up on Sunday. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.